Because when we begin to trace the story of the development of African kingdoms and the development of African empires, like that of ancient Ethiopia and ancient Egypt, you will find that it was actually trying to establish the source of these rivers and the extent of the extension of these rivers that create, you know, the necessary vehicle to take African people to populate the rest of the world. The first people who populate the world come from Africa following the Nile, and they reach, you know, the present-day Mediterranean, and then they start moving on the coast until they see Gibraltar, which at that time was very close to Africa, and they cross and populate Spain. But there is another branch of people that follow you know, the Nile up to Nalubale, and then they follow the mountains like Mount Elgon. They speed into Kenya and look at Mount Kenya and Mount Kilimanjaro, and they follow the small tributaries and the rivers until they get to the ocean. When they get to this ocean, you know, the Ethiopian Ocean, what we now call the Indian Ocean, but at the time it was called Ethiopian Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean was called the Ethiopian Ocean, because at one time the whole world is called Ethiopia. Then these African people who occupy part of the coast of East Africa, they would also spear into most of these islands of Lamu, of Zanzibar, of Pemba, you know, populate those islands, develop very beautiful navigation skills, and it is these skills that enable them to go and populate Bismarck Archipelago, the so-called Bismarck Archipelago, to go and populate Australia, to go and become the Manco-Peace of Andaman Island, to go and populate present-day Timor and Indonesia and Polynesia, to go and populate China as the Seman, to go and populate Japan as the Masaba Negroes, taking with them the culture, taking with them the language. I have already mentioned and insisted that the African people who populated Japan, they came from eastern Uganda, western Kenya.